Here we go, welcome back to our PCM 25 career mode. So far this season we've already got quite a few nice victories on the belt, but last episode Milano-Sanremo happened and we won it. That brings our brand new signing Paul Magnier to 6 victories already this season, so a godlike transfer. In today's episode our plan is to continue the one-day races, for example Brugge-De Panne and Gent-Wevelgem, but also our second and third monument of the season, RVV and Roubaix. And to be honest, I can't wait to get started. In hindsight, it is quite funny that last episode at Milano-Sanremo, Alpecin de Koning sent just Jasper Philipsen, but to Classic Brugge-De Panne, they're sending both Philipsen and Mathieu van der Poel. What a weird choice. That said, our sprinter, Paul Magnier, is the third favorite, so I think I'd like to score a podium here. So, the race is on and the breakaway is forming. We've got a 0 day on Paul Magnier, so 78 sprint. Just about 15 kilometers left in the race, and our sprint train is well settled at the front of the peloton. We've got one man up the road, Niklas Berens, but I think he'll get caught pretty easily. There we go, 5 kilometers to go. The gap is down to 10 seconds right now, so it's looking really good. Lukáš Kubíš about to take over before this corner right there. Entering the last 3 kilometers, we will launch our sprint with Kubíš right now. Watson in the wheel, we're losing some ground, but I can launch with Watson right now before this corner. Not looking too good, not looking too fantastic at all, but a pretty decent launch on the right, but it's gonna be nowhere near a victory. It's gonna be Philipsen or De Lee. I think it's De Lee winning the race. Yes, indeed, and we finish 6th place, so a bit disappointing. Like, Brugge-De Panne is not the most important classic, but I still came here for a better result than 6th place, so that's not great. Our next classic is either the Saxo Classic, and I think this one doesn't fit Magnier as well. So yeah, Antonio Morgado is definitely co-leader with 77 hills, 77 cobble. That said, I think it's gonna be really difficult to beat Mathieu van der Poel and Tadej Pogačar at the start line. I reckon I'll be happy with a top 10, but I'm hoping for a top 5. So, Mini Tour of Flanders has begun. Paul Magnier with a -1 on the day is not exactly a fantastic start, but still 74 cobble and 79 hill. Morgado with a 0 day, so 78 hill, 78 cobble, so I think he might be our best candidate. E3 is definitely not as hard as RVV, but this sector right here has the Paterberg before the Oude Quaremont, so that combo is quite deadly. The fast climb is about to start, La Houppe, so we are slowly but surely getting into the hill zone, but I don't expect much to happen at the start here, so we're kind of just chilling for now. Next up is Knokteberg, then Holtont, then Kortekeer, then Tijmenberg, where the race opens up in real life, but it's kind of sad that I know all these names by heart, to be honest. I think I'm addicted to cycling. Like, I don't expect the PCM race to open up on the Tijmenberg, but we're also not in a good position, so I'm trying to desperately move up to the top 15 riders of the peloton, but the climb is starting right here. Here comes the Tijmenberg, but nothing is happening. Kind of as expected. I wish there was a way for stage creators in the Pro Cycling Manager community to highlight certain climbs or cobble sectors as places where the race is likely to open up. Maybe in the stage editor, for example, because that could potentially make these races way more realistic in game. Anyway, there's been a move in the peloton by Matthias Vacek and Josh Starling together with a teammate, each one of them, so a pretty dangerous attack, but it's kind of not my responsibility to take care of that, so I'm kind of waiting. I think the more passive the race is, the more it benefits me. Oh, that's a big move. Tadej Pogačar bridges towards the breakaway of 14 riders now, which, that is scary, but is Alpecin or Caja Rural taking care of that? No, they're not. They're kind of sitting up. I guess it's my turn to start pacing then. Matthias Schwarzbacher, there's a gap of 40 seconds now to Pogačar, who has linked up with the original breakaway. Now the gap is a minute, but Matthias, you can do this. I believe in you, but suddenly Alpecin is pacing too. And there we go. Through the power of Jasper Philipsen and my team, Tadej Pogačar is caught. Turning onto the Paterberg as we speak, catching the leftover breakaway riders, and Alvar is doing a fantastic job controlling right now. I'll do 90 over the top, not too much because the Oude Quaremont is coming. But now Tadej Pogačar is coming to the front with Polit in the wheel. I'm doing 99 on Watson to try and follow. Morgado is in the wheel. I need to go with Morgado himself because we are getting gapped. Otherwise, Tadej Pogačar has no gap. Okay, a pretty relaxed race, and I'm gonna sit up with all my riders hoping that we can have as many teammates as possible in this front peloton. This is a great race situation for me. Oh shit, that's a move. Mathieu van der Poel together with Pogacar is going. I've got Watson on 99. I have to respond to that. Morgado does not have the red to do it himself, but Magnier should be my leader now because there's only one climb left. I've got a full team, so let's close that down with Morgado right now very fast and quickly. There we go, and now go into control mode in the peloton. Another attack on the right side of the road by Kilich and so forth. Matthias Kopetzky on 95 trying to close it down. It's Philipsen with a proper gap now. I'm hoping that other riders try to take care of that. For example, Tadej Pogacar, but his gap is 25 seconds. That's pretty prominent. Polid responds with an attack. We've got counterattacks. This will be so difficult to control. But riders just keep on attacking left and right to the point that I'm just trying to survive right now. And we've got more moves on the right side of the road. I'm gonna sit up. I'm gonna hope that the rest of this peloton catches those riders up front. And that is happening as we speak, so that's nice, but still 20 kilometers to go. And look at my yellow bars. I'm not looking good. There goes Pogacar in response to Jasper Stuyven. The rest of the peloton is in his wheel, so he shouldn't get away. Stuyven has been caught, and Pogacar sits up. So back to square zero. 26 people in the group. I've got 2 riders with no energy, but there goes Pogacar. Hopefully the others take care of that. Sadly, the others are not taking care of that, so Morgado is having to pay, spending all his energy right now, which I don't like. Worst case, I'll try to bridge myself with Magnier because sitting still in this peloton is clearly not working. There comes my move by Mr. Magnier. We've got a small gap. Let's relay on 85 with whoever is with me, which is the entire group. Honestly, I cannot catch Pogacar. I think I've accepted it. The gap is 45 seconds, so what I'll do instead is I'll put myself in the wheel of Mathieu van der Poel and try and get a top 5 like that. Right there in the distance, Tadej Pogacar is riding away to the victory at E3 Saxo Classic. Jasper Philipsen is having a bit of a chas patat, so he's gonna get caught by his teammate Quinten Herman, so that's a bit weird. The question is, can I finish in second place? There comes a move by Kung and Wright. I don't like that. Come on, Van der Poel. Respond, buddy. Respond. Last 2 kilometers. They're not responding. I'm going to have to go 85. I'm going to have to go 85 with Magnier himself. Last 2.8 kilometers for my man. Get to the wheel, buddy. Get to the wheel, but I don't have the energy for this. This is a disaster. I'm sitting up again. I'm sitting up again to the wheel of Mathieu van der Poel. Last 1.3 kilometers. I'm going to sprint out of this corner right now. Come on, Magnier. Try and get I can't even get a top 5 because these riders rode away. It's gonna be a top 10, but I think a podium was possible here, but I kind of just bottled it. Tadej Pogacar wins the race by 1:39, so quite dominantly, and we finished 7th on 2:11. It's quite funny, the race was passive enough to make sure I had multiple riders over the last climb to try and control the attacks, but it was also hard enough to make sure that my riders did not have the energy to do so. And before the race, I would have been happy with a top 10, like 7th place, but I feel like a top 5 was definitely possible. Anyway, that brings us to a race that I definitely want to try to win. Gent-Wevelgem with Mathieu van der Poel, Pedersen, Wout van Aert and Jasper Philipsen, but also our man, Paul Magnier. And the fascinating part is, it's the echelon variant of the race, so this should be pretty chaotic. And you and I both know I love myself a bit of chaos. Okay, the race is about to begin. A +1 on Magnier, so that is fantastic. 81 hill stat, 75 cobble, 78 sprint. That is probably my captain because -1 on Morgado. Still 77 in both hill and cobble, so it's not too bad. Today's first obstacle is approaching a 70-kilometer echelon zone, but I think my tactic is simply being passive, saving as much energy as possible. Today's 5-man breakaway is starting the echelon zone as we speak on this left-hand corner, and the wind is going up to 38, so there's definitely wind. There we go, my riders are moving into position before that corner approaches, and Visma Leasebike is already setting up a decent tempo going into it, so I think this might become a battlefield. The echelon segment has only just begun and the peloton is completely lined out as we speak, and the tempo is quite significant by Visma Leasebike, but we are in a perfect position, so that's fantastic. Honestly, 20k into this wind zone, the peloton is still full. I kind of didn't expect this because the wind is definitely here. This has to be the moment, right? Splits have to occur here. Come on, look at the peloton. It's completely lined out, but It's not happening. Oh snap, quite literally the peloton has snapped into pieces right here, 30 people off the back, and we finally have ECHELONS halfway through the win zone, and Visma Lease Bike and Lotto keep on pacing. And the damage keeps on coming now, 80 people off the back, the peloton is down to 81 riders now. My team is looking pretty okay, but kind of dehydrated. Visma Lease Bike is spending quite a few riders in this win zone. Per Strandhagen is already off the back, Del Grosso off the back, Jasper Stuyven being dropped. That is early. 37 people left. This is crazy. I think Christophe Laporte might be done for, so I'm gonna put Thomas Kopetzky at the front on 85 to see if I can drop a few riders. Come on, Kopetzky, keep on pacing, but they're holding on for now, and Thomas Kopetzky himself is now done for, so maybe that was not the smartest idea. But actually, I feel like making this race as hard as possible, so I'm gonna keep on pacing now with Samuel Watson and the rest of my team at the front of this group and see if someone really important drops. There we go. Oliveira off the back. Laporte is struggling, but I'm using Morgado already. I can't do this. Can I? Can I use Morgado already? I don't think I should, but I really do want to drop Laporte here, and he's gone. Perfect. Now I can drop the tempo to 65, and Laporte is gone. Oh, we got some attacks by Tarling, Isidore, and Ben Turner. I don't necessarily like that, because I don't have any riders to control moves anymore. Maybe I should attack towards them. Actually, I think I will. There goes Manier, attacks into the breakaway. Let's try to bridge to the front with 95 kilometers to go. This is so stupid. There we go. Made it to the front group. Now we'll drop it towards maybe 60, something like that, and try and relay a little bit. The gap is 40 seconds now to the second group led by Niels Polit. Anyway, with that first win zone behind us, we're now moving towards the first Kemmelberg of the day, and we've got a gap of 1:20 now on the peloton, but it's a peloton of 55 riders now, and people are recovering here, so my Manier attack might have been pretty stupid. I reckon I'll just try and do as little as possible in this attack, and if we get caught, we get caught. Here we go, onto the Kemmelberg with this group, and a puncture by Isidore. Some attacks behind. Mathieu van der Poel is bridging together with Pedersen, so now we're in an interesting situation. Manier is with the best riders of this race at the front of the race. But of course, I don't feel like riding with Mathieu van der Poel and so forth, so I'm gonna sit up on 85, and now everybody is back. But with 70 kilometers to go, we're now in the Plug Street zone, which is also a win zone in this race. So the second win zone where 38 wins, so it's not that easy. On the gravel segments, Morgado is done for. Kubish is my last domestique in a group of 28 riders, so I definitely overextended my team earlier. We've got a mechanical there from a UAE rider, but no clue who it was. But we are still in the peloton with Manier, but we are not looking that good anymore. I'm starting to think going ham early in the race was a big mistake. Still 60k to go with 2 times the Kemmelberg, and my energy is looking disastrous. A millimeter of yellow bar. I'm literally trying to sit on 60 maintain position for the sole reason of recovering as much energy as possible. But this corner right here is the start of the Kemmelberg for the second time of the day, so I've got myself on 85 to keep my front position. That's overkill. Let's maintain position on 85 and try to not spend too much energy. Over the top with a group of 20 riders, and I've got some yellow bars still, so we're looking somewhat alive. Oh snap, the big guns are attacking. Wout van Aert goes, Pedersen, Van der Poel is done for. What? I did not expect that, but I'm trying to use the other riders here to get back, but it's not exactly working. The gap is about 30 seconds right now to Van der Poel, Wout van Aert, and Pedersen, who are a league above the rest, and we are kind of stuck in the second peloton right now with a good 40 kilometers to go still. Sorry guys, but I need all 3 of you to stop working with each other. The gap is now a minute, and I'm just struggling in this second group, hoping that others bring me back. Anyway, last Kemmelberg is here, and I need to do something. I have no choice here, so let's do 87 and pace a little bit, hoping that the gap diminishes, but the opposite is happening. The gap is expanding to 1 minute and 10 seconds, so I think this race might be over with 30 kilometers to go. In the last 20k, there's a single obstacle left, a short win zone. The gap is 1 minute 20 to a 15-man peloton here, but I think the race is over. I'm hoping it's not though. These guys are still relaying. Actually, just on that note, Mathieu van der Poel is attacking and dropping Pedersen. Van Aert tries to follow Mathieu van der Poel, but in the second peloton here, the tempo is kind of completely gone. It's Group 4 syndrome. In that wind zone in the last 10 kilometers, and the gap is now 2 minutes. Mathieu van der Poel, Pedersen and Wout van Aert will be fighting for the victory at Gent-Wevelgem. And Van der Poel attacks again, leaving Van Aert and Pedersen behind. Are they relaying together? I think they are. They will be coming back, I think, but that is not really anything that concerns to me because I just want to win the sprint for 4th place. Looks like it's all back together in the front group now with 3.4 kilometers to go, but I'll try something else. I think I might try to actually, Pierre Gauthieral does exactly what I was planning to do, which was attack from the second group, because now I'm back in chasing mode, which is never going to end well. Ay, ay, ay. That is so bad. Last kilometer, Pedersen launches, will win Gent-Wevelgem without a single doubt here, but Paul Magnier is desperately trying to get back to the attacking riders to beat them in the final sprint here, but 4th place is going to be really difficult to get for us. I'm going to try anyway. There goes Paul Magnier, but not even a top 10. Maybe? I think a top 10 is possible, but what a disastrous race for us again. These classics have not gone our way, and this race, it's kind of all my fault. Like, why did I decide to attack with Paul Magnier in the first echelon segment after saying before the race that I was gonna play passive there? I was hoping to be competitive for the podium here, and in the end we get 9th, so that is disappointing. Okay, it's time to lock in. Dwars door Vlaanderen against Tadej Pogačar, Jasper Philipsen, Wout van Aert, Filippo Ganna. What a list for this race. Paul Magnier is present and the parkour kind of really fits him. This time I want to make sure I make the right decisions in the race, and I want to compete not just for the podium but for the victory. Thing is, in terms of parkour, this race is quite a bit easier than E3 Harelbeke, but also without the echelon segments easier than Gent-Wevelgem. Add to that, Paul Magnier starts with 80 hill stats, 74 cobble stats, 78 sprint, but Matthias Kopecky has a hospital icon next to his name, but still good stats though, 76 cobbles, 75 hill stats, so apparently getting ill is better for him. But hey, today's game plan is fairly simple: control the race and win the sprint. Just about halfway the race at the start of the hill zone and Morgado has crashed, but he's in a group of 7 riders, so I do think we'll come back pretty easily. Morgado is back in the peloton, but he's positioned in Narnia, so let's move up. Meanwhile, Paul Magnier is well positioned at the front with a 2-minute 30 gap to the breakaway, but I don't expect these guys to survive, so they're under control. Just about 45 kilometers to go now with 2 climbs left to Kruisberg and the Knokteberg, and kind of nothing's happening at the moment. Still, the peloton chasing down the breakaway. Quite literally a massive peloton of 150 riders entering the last climb of the day, the Knokteberg Trieux, so I've got myself in a perfect position in the peloton. Pogačar is not doing anything yet, so let's sit up and hope for a relaxed ending to the race and a sprint over the top, and still no attack by Tadej Pogačar. How is he expecting to win if he doesn't attack? I guess we still have the Varnd, a flat cobble sector starting as we speak, but it's such a wide road that I kind of don't expect too many gaps here to happen, and no one is attacking in the first place. At least the breakaway is getting caught as we speak, so that's a good thing. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh god. Alvarez, Watson are down. I've got Magnier waiting, which I don't want. Half my team's gone. Quite literally, because of that one crash, so that is quite devastating. Get up, guys, get up, get up, get up. Come on, Watson, get up. He's so slow, man. So incredibly slow, and he's half still in the peloton? Not really, so Alvarez is still here? Towards the back of the group, so he's got to move up now. Tomasz Kopecky, buddy, you got to make sure we get to the front now. I've got a single teammate suddenly. I've suddenly got a single teammate for Magnier, so what a twist. Actually, Alvarez seems to be coming back, so that would be a nice domestique, but we've got some moves here. We have an attack by Gauthieral, Rex and so forth. Tomasz Kopecky needs to try and control that for Magnier. I was in such a perfect situation and everything fell apart with a single crash. Oh, our riders just keep on attacking left and right, but no one's actually getting a gap, so that's a good thing. But there's Pogačar. There's Pogačar and Wout van Aert of the front. I'm blocked in right now, so I can't even get to the front. Pogačar attacks past Wout van Aert, does not have a gap, and is about to get caught again, so that is good. Can we please find a way to the front, Thomas Kopecky? 10 kilometers to go, and I'm still blocked in. Come on, Thomas, move up, buddy, move up. Alvarez, get out of the way. Get out of the way, my friend. Okay, in the last 10 kilometers, and we finally found a gap here. Van Aert on the right side of the road, and I think I'll take his wheel with Magnier, and I'll put Thomas Kopecky in the wheel of Tadej Pogacar. That way I've got someone in the wheel of both favorites. Magnier goes in the wheel of Wout van Aert, who is attacking on the Hellegemstraat, but we are well positioned. Can I get to the wheel of Van Aert and stay there? Yes, I can, but that's a move by Piffy. I'm going to try and get to the wheel there with Magnier into the wheel of Pogacar, but that attack does not continue, or is it the corners that is stopping it? I think he's still attacking. No, he's not, but Ghana is now attacking with Pogacar and Magnier in the wheel, and Kopecky is not going to be able to follow that, so he's going to be off the bank soon, but he can protect Magnier a little bit. In the wheel of Pogacar, 5 kilometers to go, and I think I might want to relay with these guys because I've got the best sprint here. The peloton is only 7 seconds behind. We've got 2 kilometers left to go. 1.5, Paul Magnier versus Ghana versus Tadej Pogacar. We don't have a full red bar, but I'll launch right now before this corner. I think we've got it. Come on, man. Come on, man. Pogacar tries to come around Ghana as well, but Paul Magnier is finally gonna do it. A classic in our hands. I know we won Milano-San Remo, but I'm talking about cobble classics here. Oi, it feels so good that we finally get it right in a cobble race. Look at our man, how beautiful on the podium, beating Ghana and Pogacar, two of the best cyclists in the world. Wout van Aert in 4th place, but Paul Magnier is number 1 on this one. I know Dwars Vlaanderen is a bit of a Mickey Mouse race among the cobble classics, but it's still a World Tour race, so I'm very happy with this one. Starting off with the second monument of the season, the Ronde van Vlaanderen. And basically everybody is present. Mathieu van der Poel, Tadej Pogacar, Mes Pedersen, Wout van Aert. But as you can see from my team, there's no Paul Magnier at the start line. Because if I'm honest, I think the parkour is simply too hard for him. So instead, today, I'm going all out for a top 10 result for Antonio Morgado, and a top 10 would already be great for me. Okay, pretty sunny conditions in Flanders today. We've got a +1 on Morgado, so that means 79 hill stats, 79 cobble. I'm liking that. The breakaway is technically already up the road, but I think I want to try and get up there with one rider, so Schwarzbacher is attacking, but Visma Leasebike is not liking it, to the point that our attack has basically failed, so that plan did not work. Anyway, the real race starts with about 130 kilometers to go with the first Auto Quaremont, but after that, it's absolute chaos until the finish. But I'm actually quite confident that we can get that top 10 with Morgado, especially with his day today. So the break is starting the first Auto Quaremont, and I just noticed Remco Evenepoel is in this breakaway. That is kind of crazy. But in the peloton, we are relatively well positioned, and I kind of don't expect anything to happen here because it's still so far until the finish line. 130 kilometers. A couple of punctures, but nothing too serious, so we're still well positioned, we're still in the game. Anyway, the hill zone is properly starting, and Remco Evenepoel is pacing in this breakaway 4 minutes 30 right now on the peloton, so not exactly too dangerous. In real life, the next climb actually played a role, the Molenberg, but in Pro Cycling Manager, it's still 100 kilometers from the finish line, so I kind of don't expect anything to happen. Here we go, onto the climb, looks very different from in real life, but hey, we survived it and the peloton absolutely did nothing. In real life, these hills can be used to anticipate the favorites, but we've got 4 teams pacing like crazy in the peloton behind the breakaway, so I simply can't attack at the moment. Anyway, an important point in the race now, 56 kilometers to go, and the Auto Quaremont is coming for the second time in a row, and we've got some riders from the breakaway getting caught. It's now down to 5 riders only, with obviously Remco Evenepoel still present with Ben Healy on Bora. That's a weird side. Remco going solo on the Auto Quaremont. Morgado in a relatively good position, and I want to keep it that way. UAE Team Emirates is pacing like crazy with Vermeers gapping Mathieu van der Poel here, but I don't know where he's riding off to because Pogacar is still in this peloton. Some riders getting a bit of a gap on this cobble sector, but I'm simply sitting up and trying to save my energy for now. I think the key to a top 10 is a passive race for me. Now sprinting to the foot of the Paterberg, this turn to the right takes us on it, and we've got tempo by Matthew Brennan for Wout van Aert, I assume. Yes, indeed. I'm going to sit up again because nothing's happening on this climb, except those riders that attacked on the Auto Quaremont that are bridging towards Remco Evenepoel, who has a 2-minute gap basically on the peloton with Morgado now. So pretty serious gap, but I don't believe Remco will make it. Now it's time for the Koppenberg. We had a few attacks just before it, but they got caught immediately on the climb itself, so that kind of went nowhere, and the gap to the front went down to less than a minute now, so Remco is doomed. That's an attack right there by people that are immediately getting caught. I am so surprised that Mathieu van der Poel and Pogacar have not done a single attack yet in this race, but there goes Mess Pedersen now, which is close to a favorite in my book, so I'm a little bit scared, but Riley Sheehan is now pacing behind him. On the Taaienberg, Remco Evenepoel is getting caught, and a bunch of other riders who have attacked earlier are now the 7-man breakaway, including Pedersen there, but we've got Philipsen just pacing or attacking? I think it is attacking, yes indeed. He's gapping the peloton a little bit, but I don't think he's getting away to the point that I'm still in a perfect position. Is that Mathieu van der Poel following a move here? Not exactly. It's all coming back together. What's happening here? We've got Riley Sheehan still with these 3 riders. Ben Turner is trying to bridge and drop them. Pollitt is pacing in the group behind with Philipsen. So still the teams of the favorites controlling. We've got only 3 climbs left: Holtond, Oude Quaremont, and Paterberg. Ooh, is that Pogacar moving up? Yes, indeed, that's Pogacar attacking, and I'm blocked in on the Holtondberg of all climbs. I did not see that coming, but I will use Kubish now on 85 in the hopes that he can pace for me right now, and hopefully we can get back to the riders up front, but it's Tadej Pogacar, so that won't be easy. Mess Pedersen, Tadej Pogacar, Van der Poel, and Filippo Ganna is the 4-man breakaway right now with a single Michiel Maurits as the chaser. Morgado is not looking too good in this peloton, so I gotta play it as defensively as possible. The next climb is coming, the Oude Quaremont. Come on, Morgado, this is your moment. This is the Oude Quaremont. I'm blocked in this second group by 2 motorbikes, hopefully helping us moto pace a little, but at the front of the race, Tadej Pogacar is trying to drop Pedersen and Mathieu van der Poel. I don't care. I'm fighting for a top 10 in this race, and I don't think I can catch them anyway, so I might as well sit up in the wheel of Wout van Aert here. And there goes Wout van Aert with the attack just as I do that over the top of the Oude Quaremont, but that is also scary because the Paterberg is now coming and my yellow bar and red bar is not looking too good. Stefan Kung is with us, but we got half a minute on the group behind at the foot of this climb. Can I follow out? Can I follow out? Let's stay in the wheel as long as possible, Morgado. Keep following, buddy, over the Paterberg, still with Wout. Like, I'm sorry, Wout, but I simply cannot take over. Yes, it's 10 kilometers of flat, but I've got no yellow bar. I've literally just got half a red bar. I can't help you. And I fear that the group behind is actually going to come back to us and beat us, so I'm just going to sit in the wheel of Wout van Aert, hope that they relay for me, and try to benefit. This is bad. In the last 5 kilometers, and my man Morgado is done for. Kung is attacking, Wout van Aert is following, and at the front of the race we've got Pogacar, Pedersen and Van der Poel fighting for the win, but I'm completely out of energy, so I'm simply gonna go 99 completely empty to the finish line, and I think I'm gonna get caught by the group behind. But I feel like in the front group it's most likely gonna be Mess Pedersen taking it. Last kilometer, Van der Poel launches, Pedersen kind of blocked in behind Pogacar, he's trying to come through the middle, and Mess Pedersen wins the Tour of Flanders. In the meanwhile, Antonio Morgado has a mere 20 seconds. Come on, Morgado, ride! I know you're empty, but ride for your life! Bissicker's catching us, Pollitt is trying, last 1.3 kilometers, come on, buddy! No, our top 10 is gone! It's gonna be a top 20. A simple, silly top 20. That is so sad because we rode such a decent race. And the part that makes me really sad is because we followed Wout van Aert, we overextended, and that's why we lose our top 10. If we stay in the group behind, we probably make it happen. In other words, our greed for a potential top 5 is what cost us a top 10 and resulted in a 19th place. That is devastating. We deserved more. I'm sorry, but Antonio Morgado was the 6th best rider in the race. Anyway, putting my saltiness to the side, it's now time for the 3rd monument of the season. Back-to-back monuments. Paris-Roubaix this time around, with obviously the many cobble sectors, but also a wind zone before it, so this should be fun. The favorite is Mathieu van der Poel together with Tadej Pogacar, Mess Pedersen, Wout van Aert, so everybody's here. And I'm looking through my team, but I think our leader is once again gonna be Morgado because, well, his cobble stat is 77. And hopefully with good daily form, even higher in the race. But hey, against this competition, I think I'm happy with a top 10 once again. Gotta say, I do like myself a pretty rainy Roubaix, but this time on Pro Cycling Manager, is the most sunny one I've ever seen. We've got 16 riders already in the breakaway, so that's quite massive. I kinda wish I was in there, but my riders were too far to the back. Maybe I can still bridge on the left side of the road, but the gap is kind of 34 seconds, so this won't be easy. Schwarzbacher tries on the left side of the road. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Bridge, buddy. No chasse patate, please. Yeah, okay. This is a chasse patate. I'm stuck in between the peloton and the breakaway, so I might as well wait on the peloton again. That was a disaster. Anyway, today's first obstacle is approaching, not a cobble sector, but a wind zone. Not too much is happening in the peloton, but 4 riders did drop, including Marcos Freire, the son of Oscar Freire. Peloton is still 155 riders, and my riders are losing yellow bar, but not that much is happening. 4 minutes 30 is still the gap to the breakaway. Now, I was not expecting it, but actual echelons are happening. The peloton is now down to 50 riders up front. We are losing so much of our yellow bar. Even if this damage is not permanent, it is making this Paris-Roubaix even harder than it already is. Anyway, the cobbles are approaching and the wind zone is done for, and the early breakaway has a minor gap of 20 seconds, so they might get caught. Samuel Watson of the back, Kubish of the back, a peloton of 40 riders going into the cobbles. This is insane. And Wout van Aert is already pacing on the first cobble sector of the day. What is happening in this Paris-Roubaix? It's 160 kilometers to go, Wout. What are you doing? I'm sorry, guys. Look at my yellow bar. I've got nothing. And every single cobble sector, Wout van Aert just keeps on pacing. I do not understand it. What is his plan? Nobody knows, but it's hurting me so much. Thomas Kopecky is done for. Matthias Kopecky is done for. Schwarzbacher, no yellow bar. I am perishing. Also, can I just ask, what is Ben Healy doing in Paris-Roubaix of all races? Anyway, 140 kilometers left to go. Morgado with a little bit of yellow bar. Schwarzbacher and Alvarez are still here, but don't have yellow bar. But actually, just after I said that, the tempo in the peloton dropped so significantly that I'm recovering quite well. Matthias and Thomas are back, Lukas Kubish as well, so I've got domestiques again. Anyway, the second next sector is Truide-Arenberg, so the first 5-star sector of the race, and Ben Turner is leading the race by a minute on a 3-man group that includes Abrahamsen, Mikkels and Hulgaard, so 2 UNO-X riders, then an attack by Josh Starling and Turnison and loads of other riders actually, but the peloton is now 65 riders and Morgado's looking good again. That was undoubtedly the most stressful first half to a Paris-Roubaix on Pro Cycling Manager I've ever played. Okay, on to Arenberg as we speak, not doing anything, simply surviving in the group, and the sector is almost over, so I'm kind of trying to chill here because if I play a passive race, I think I've got a bigger chance at a top 10. Come on team, keep ourselves in position on every cobble sector. Thomas Kopecky is almost done for, so Kubish can take over when it comes to protecting Morgado. And looks like the riders that attacked before Truide-Arenberg are about to be caught by the peloton, so they're definitely done for. Just about 64 kilometers to go, about to enter a new cobble sector, and my team is not looking good because I've got basically Morgado and a doomed Schwarzbacher. He's done for. And in between the sectors, riders keep on attacking me like Ghana, Pogacar and so forth. I'm trying to just sit up and hope that they get caught because I've got nothing to respond. We've had a small attack up front by Bissiger and Pedersen. We're still in that second group though of 35 riders still, so it's not been that selective now. Next up is a pretty big one. Auchy-les-Orchies 4-star sector. Morgado is in position, but his yellow bar, look at it. It's almost invisible. I've got like half a centimeter of it, and I'm actively struggling to follow the tempo by the big guns Pogacar and so forth at the front. I'm simply trying to survive. Ending this sector with barely a yellow bar left, and we've got a few riders up the front. Pogacar, Pedersen and Van der Poel, so let them go, I don't care. But I'm literally entering Mozambique in the second group with no yellow left, so it's only a matter of time before I get dropped by the second group here. But I think I might make it to the end of this sector. Come on, Morgado, hold on, hold on, hold on. No, hold on, please, please, please. Oh my god, am I still there? No, I'm not. I'm dropped. I can't believe it. 43 kilometers to go, still so far from the finish line, and Antonio Morgado is off the back. Anyway, at the front of the race, lots of riders keep on attacking each other, including the favorites with Pogacar, Mathieu van der Poel into Calvin-Pavel, I think 5th last sector. He's got Van der Poel on the wheel, Van Aert is cracking, Wout van Aert is cracking, Ghana is in trouble, Pedersen tries to get to the wheel, Mathieu is in trouble, trying to follow Pogacar, but there's no gap, so still 4 riders at the front. But Pedersen is is dropping on the next sector, Ghana as well. Pogacar keeps on pushing, but he cannot drop Mathieu van der Poel with 15k to go. In the last 7 kilometers, Pogacar has attacked once again on the asphalt, and there's a gap of 15 seconds, so Mathieu van der Poel might be done for. Mathieu, your man is right there in front of you. The gap is 20 seconds with 2.3 kilometers to go, but I think you're done for. I think Tadej has it. In the last kilometer, Mathieu tries nothing, and Tadej Pogacar is sprinting to the finish line against himself and wins Paris-Roubaix. Morgado is now also in the velodrome in the wheel of Philipsen, but I gotta be honest, I don't even know which position we are fighting for, so yeah, I don't think this is gonna be fantastic. We tried to follow Philipsen, but we are completely done for, so it's not even gonna be a top 20. It's gonna be like 24th, 25th. And while the race was so much harder than expected because of those echelons at the start, I still expected more, you know? But you might be wondering, Benji, why did you not send Paul Magnier to these RVV and Paris-Roubaix races? Well, that's because Paul Magnier's 79 hill stat is so good that I think I can win a hill classic with him. For example, Amstel Gold Race, but maybe more La Flèche Wallonne. Like, he's also riding LBL, but I don't believe too much in that one. And actually, I might as well do those races today. Let's go. Starting off with the Amstel Gold Race against Remco Evenepoel, Tom Pidcock, Skjelmose, and so forth, but we've got Paul Magnier. I don't really know what I can achieve here, but I feel like I should be able to compete for the win. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I don't think this is the 2026 edition of Amstel Gold Race because the third last climb is the Kouwberg and not the last one. Anyway, my game plan is pretty simple, praying for the most passive race scenario ever and hoping that Magnier can win a reduced sprint. Anyway, roughly 60 kilometers to go, and I think the race will open up in the last 40 kilometers, and my team is looking pretty solid right now. Magnier is spending a bit of his yellow bar, which I don't like, but I've got 4 teammates left. Oh, that's an attack by Matthias Vacek together with nobody. Some more people trying to respond to that on the right side of the road, Williams, Del Grosso and Madouas, but it's not my responsibility to catch that, so I'll simply stay in the peloton. Oh, that is Remco Evenepoel though, going solo by himself with 48 kilometers to go. Lots of people trying to respond. I'm hoping that I'm not the only one left in the peloton here. Ay, ay, ay. Everybody else is counter-attacking, so I think I need to respond somehow. Let's put Mr. Watson at the front then, pace a little bit, and Veldhofer can protect Magnier now. Actually, UAE Team Emirates is pacing, so I don't think I need to do anything with Watson. I am simply gonna stay in the peloton and stay put here, and it looks like those riders are getting caught, but Remco Evenepoel is still solo. 42 kilometers to go, and he's already gone. He's now caught up with the second group right here, Madouas, Del Grosso and Williams, and is trying to lure back Mr. Vacek at the front. Meanwhile, Magnier is on a minute 20 right now, so not a great situation, but not terrible either. Rider by rider, people are getting dropped by Remco Evenepoel. He's caught Vacek, and I feel like he's gonna drop them, so it's such a realistic playthrough. And those attackers are caught again, so pretty perfect race situation for Magnier so far, but his energy, I don't think is good enough to compete here. Now it's time for the downhill to the final Kouwberg of this race. Magnier is trying to position himself in this downhill. There we go, onto the climb, and I think this is where I might get dropped, so let's hope I can follow. Come on, Paul. 93, something like that. We're gonna be suffering. I don't think I can follow these moves, but they're actually sitting up. They are sitting up, so if I can stay in their wheel, please no gaps, please no gaps, please no gaps. Stay in the wheel, Paul, stay in the wheel. And actually, we are in the last 15 kilometers, so what if I just follow the wheel of Remco Evenepoel for the rest of the race? That is my strategy. Everything is up to you now, Remco Evenepoel. Some attacks on the right side of the road, but I refuse to respond to that. I will stay in the wheel of Remco the entire race. And I'm lucky because the rest of the peloton is catching those attacks. Still in the wheel of Remco with 9 kilometers to go. Is this the key to victory? There goes Del Toro. Remco Evenepoel responds with Paul Magnier in the wheel. Come on, Paul, hold on. You've got no... Remco's done for. Remco's done for. I need a different wheel. I need a different wheel, but who is a different wheel? I will go with Skjelmose, I think, on the left side there. I think that's a possible wheel. Or should I go for a Red Bull Bora rider? I think they're all done for, to be honest. I'll go with Healy. Why not? I'll go to the wheel of Healy with 6.5 kilometers to go. We've got him pacing now. So Nice is now attacking. Let's stay in the wheel of... I was trying to get to the wheel of Healy, but they've got an entire train for Roger Adria, maybe? With about 4 kilometers to go, Isaac Del Toro has a gap of 27 seconds, so I think he's gonna win, but I will stay in the wheel of Adria. I don't have much energy, though, so I don't think I can even compete for a podium here because I can't sprint. Last 2 kilometers, I'm literally about to run out of red bars. So yeah, no sprint is happening. We're gonna be finishing somewhere in the top 10, top 20 somewhere. But the winner is Del Toro ahead of Adria. I had the right wheel, but I simply did not have the energy. So top 15 is kind of worse than I expected, I'll be honest. Gotta say, the difficulty in these races for us is the last 20 kilometers where we don't have teammates and our leader basically has to try to control attacks themselves, which he doesn't have the energy for. But hey, 13th place, I guess it's fine. La Flèche Wallonne 2028 is here with Tom Pidcock as the favorite, Romain Grégoire as second favorite, and our man Paul Magnier as third favorite, so I think we can maybe win this. So, just about 75 kilometers to go and we are in the hill zone as we speak, so the race is on, but I do want to move my riders up a little bit, so let's try to do so. Gotta say, the Mur de Huy in this game is so much wider than in real life. You can have like a whole peloton next to each other here. Oh, our first attack in the peloton is Paul Sixas at Ineos Sky. That's such a weird sentence, but I said it. 43 kilometers to go, so we are moving towards the Côte de Cherava thing before the second last Mur de Huy, but I guess I'm just chilling in the peloton for now because most of my team is still looking pretty good. Honestly, the attackers have gotten caught, new attackers have attacked, we've got this group ahead of us with a gap of 15 seconds at the foot of the second Mur de Huy. I'm trying to pace myself on maybe 85, something like that, because I don't want them to get a massive gap, you know? We've got another move by Stef Kras, Gaudu and Lesser on the left side of the road, and those attackers have been caught, most of them. So, 30 kilometers left, we've got basically one peloton here, Côte d'Eref, Côte de Cherave, and then the final Mur de Huy. So, I've got multiple riders to try and control it, but Magnier's yellow bar is not looking that fantastic either, so I'm a little bit worried. 70 riders in the peloton hitting the foot of the last Côte d'Eref. It's not the biggest climb in the world, but I just need to get Magnier over it. Hopefully no attacks by anyone else. Skelmos is done for. That's kind of crazy. I can lower my tempo a bit. Veldhofer can take over and I can use Mr. Morgado to protect me. We've got moves on top by loads of people, but I'm just trying to stay in the peloton here. Now it's time for the second last climb and my energy is not looking good. I think this is the Côte de Cherave, but it's got a different name in the game right now. Got myself on 90 attacks on the right side of the road. I can't follow that, so I need to hope that the peloton controls itself, which it's kind of doing. Come on, close the gaps over the top. It's maybe happening. Yes, indeed, but there comes another move by Mr. Sheffield. I've got no yellow bar, so it's all about surviving. But there is a gap at the front there. Remco Evenepoel is off with 20 seconds on the rest, and I think he's most likely gonna keep that, so I don't think I can compete for the win, and even if Remco is caught, I don't have a yellow bar, so I don't think I can win this race. I've got myself in the wheel of Veldhofer now, so let's try and go with that for now. We've got Magnier with a bit of a sprint, so let's try and use that here. Mur de Huy is incoming. Let's get ready. 90 with Veldhofer is too much. We've got more attacks there, but I've got nothing, guys. Money is done for, so I think I'm cooked here, but I'm going to try and get into the wheel of Mr. Mauro Schmid on the right side of the road. Last kilometer right now, onto the steeper portions of Mur de Huy. We've got lots of riders attacking. I'm running out of red bar. I won't be able to sprint. Ay. Nice attacks towards the wheel of Evenepoel, and then comes Maxim van Gils on the left side of the road, but it looks like it's going to be close. Thibaut Nys is going to win Flèche Wallonne, which... not a surprise maybe in the future in real life, but in game, Thibaut Nys takes it. I think we're finishing about 21st, 22nd, so that's a disappointing outcome. I gotta say, when I put Paul Magnier on the Hill Classic schedule, I expected more than a top 25 in both Amstel and Flèche, and I don't think Liège-Bastogne-Liège is gonna be better. And unlike Amstel and Flèche, Tadej Pogačar is present for this race, so that makes it even harder. Like, Paul Magnier is my man for this, but I think Lorenzo Finn probably would have been a better option. Anyway, with Lorenzo Finn's 81 medium mountain and 78 hill stat, we need to get a top 10 here, right? Okay, starting off with a +1 on the day on Lorenzo Finn, so 83 medium mountain, 80 hill stat. I am liking this already. In the last 90 kilometers now and the hills have begun. The Côte de One is here with Wout van Aert present in the race, by the way. Pogačar is well positioned. UAE Team Emirates is pacing and Torres is already done for, but I'm looking pretty solid at the moment. Well, except for Morgado, he crashed and basically dropped. The short steep climb is always a scary one on Pro Cycling Manager because the downhill starts so suddenly that splits in the peloton can happen, but in real life this climb actually does nothing. There we go. As I said, the peloton is split into like 4 or 5 pieces and Pogacar is in the first one. We are stuck in the second one, but I don't really want to do the work in closing this. But nobody else is doing the work for me, so this is not looking good. But the first peloton is going so insane that Roglic is dropping, Pare Panther, Schachmann, Hirschi, UAE Emirates is exploding the race here, and I don't think I hate it because, well, maybe this can benefit me in the long run. That said, Paul Manier is stuck in like peloton 3, so that's not good either. Wait a second, Wout van Aert is attacking in the front peloton right now. That is crazy. 63 kilometers to go. The gap is 30 seconds only now on the second peloton, so we're definitely coming closer. And it looks like right now on the Col du Rosier we might catch them. No, we won't, because they've got a gap of 26 seconds still. Oh, we got some attacks in the second peloton towards that first peloton, and I'm just off the back of this small group. I want to be in this because I think they're going to bridge, and that's exactly what's happening. Let's stay in the wheel of Mathieu van der Poel here, and it looks like we're being brought back to the front of the race. We are solo though, so completely isolated. Mathieu van der Poel coming to the front, but it's all about recovering energy for me. Anyway, 50 kilometers left, 1 climb to go before we get to La Redoute. This one is the Maquisard, and that's an attack in this group by multiple riders. I'm simply trying to set my own tempo to hopefully get to the front in the wheel of this guy right here, Tom Pidcock. But I think Pidcock is struggling to close the gap right now, so this is not looking fantastic. 20 seconds is the gap. We've got Mathieu van der Poel closing it for us, so that is nice. Next up is La Redoute, and we're still at the front. But that's a big attack right there. Remco Evenepoel, Pogacar, and Max van der Meulen. I'm sitting in this... This is not looking good. I gotta get to that second group somehow, but nobody's gonna help me. Yeah, I think the reality of the situation is that I'm getting dropped before La Redoute even starts, which is far from ideal, but I'm hoping that Wout van Aert can get us back to the front, but he's not exactly continuing his relay. La Redoute is starting and we're 28 seconds behind, which is not ideal, and I think the attacks are going to come in that front group indeed. We've got Thibaut Nys going, Van der Meulen, Evenepoel, and so forth, but I'm off the back. I'm simply chasing. I am catching rider by rider. Healy's getting caught only as well, Ryan and Castrillo, but this is not fantastic either, you know? And the gap is massive towards me. Tadej Pogacar is solo ahead of Evenepoel and Van Gils. Then we've got a group of 7 riders, then a group of 1 rider, Mathieu van der Poel, Gregoire, then Castrillo, then a group of 6 including Finn. So we're in Narnia. We are catching Gregoire, we've caught Castrillo, and the next rider up the road is Mathieu van der Poel, and I want to catch him too, so let's try and do so right now on the second last climb, the Côte de Forge, and he's caught. Anyway, just Rochefoucauld left, and Pogacar is winning. A minute on the next rider, Remco Evenepoel, then 2 minutes on. Van Gils, also Jarno Widar and Thibaut Nys. Behind that Van der Meulen, then Skjelmose, then still a group, and then only us, so we're so far behind. I'm gonna try and use my energy shell before Rochefoucauld right now. I've recovered a bit of my yellow bar, and now it's time to try and relay at the start of this climb, but actually, I'm just gonna pace 85 or something from the bottom. I've got tempo by Butrago actually, and it's a tempo that I'm struggling to follow. Can I move to the front myself and maybe catch up with Pidcock and so forth? Can I drop some people? Castrillo off the back, Pellizzari off the back, Krups and so forth as well. We are passing this next group too, so we might be in the running for a potential top 10 here. But on the second part of this climb, which is basically the bone cell climb, I'm running out of red bars, so that's not great. It's all about staying with Skjelmose now, and hopefully that's a top 10 position. Okay, we are surviving over the top of this climb. Now it's a downhill to a sprint in Liège, and Finn does not have a sprint, so that's not fantastic, but I'm simply gonna stay in the wheel of, I think, Skjelmose until the line and try to outsprint these guys. Last 4 kilometers, I'm still in the wheel of Skjelmose. Holland Johannessen is also pretty fast, but looks like they are trying to attack. Yes, Skjelmose is doing something, or at least hard pacing, so they are wasting energy. Last 1.7 kilometers, I'm gonna switch to the wheel of Johannessen. I feel like doing that. Last kilometer right here, I'm gonna launch my sprint early. This might be a mistake. I don't have a sprint. I'm gonna finish last in the group, I think, but is that enough for a top 10 position? Yes, it is! 6 people have finished, and our group is 4 riders, so I'm finishing 10th place after such a ridiculously difficult Liège-Bastogne-Liège. much. These hill classics were so much more difficult than I expected them to be, but I've got my top 10, so I'm happy. That said, I've never celebrated this hard for getting 4th in a group of 4 people, but hey, we've got our 10th place. Signing up with Lorenzo Finn was a good decision. But holy crap, the gaps are gigantic. Tadej Pogacar 2 minutes 19 on Remco Evenepoel and 5 minutes 15 on 3rd place. That is bigger, those gaps, than in real life. Quite often I still get questions about my settings in-game, and I still play on the difficulty custom with 1.08 as level of in-race opponents. For context, 1.05 is extreme difficulty, so my difficulty is harder. Lastly, my sliders are on 2 when it comes to terrain attributes and 1.2 when it comes to stamina resistance, and I feel like that's quite realistic looking at our classics so far. Our races are really selective, and I like it that way. That said, my cobble and hill classics were so difficult that at the end of the day we only won one of them, Dwars Vlaanderen, and I think that's kind of disappointing for our team. As a result, we dropped to 5th place in the World Tour ranking, and well, financially, we're still looking absolute shit. But hey, hopefully we can change that in our next episode, because we're taking on our first Grand Tour of the season. A custom Giro d'Italia starting off in Napoli with a hilly time trial, a mountain stage already on day 7 on Monte Petrano, a surprise cobble stage on day 12, which is insane. But I think stage 14 might be my favorite, Monte Crostis, followed by a gravel segment on top, finishing on Monte Zoncolan. 10 kilometers at 12%, that is insane. And 2 days later, a high altitude monster stage with 6,000 altitude meters with Passo Giao included. This is gonna be so deadly. And if that's not enough, the Passo di Gavia, a gigantic climb to high altitude, and also the Mortirolo on stage 18. Anyway, I can't wait to see what Lorenzo Finn does for us on that parkour, but that's the end of today's episode. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.